everyone. Sorry I haven't posted anything in a while. The main reason for that is because I spent a lot of last week in Brighton. That was quite a last minute thing. I was actually meant to go on Saturday but ended up going on Tuesday, and this was arranged on Sunday, so yeah. And then after that I came home and I didn't have a very good few days, and so yeah, that's why I haven't really recorded anything as such, but I'm fine now. I was gonna do a longer video, but I'm not really feeling up to it. My energy levels have been a bit down recently, so I'm just gonna do something short and quick, and that is well, let me tell you the backstory. I was browsing on the internet and I came across something called the chronic illness tag, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that can be my next video, so that's what I'm going to do. It's only about 10 questions, but and most of it you probably already know, but it just looks something short and sweet, just in case you haven't watched any of my previous videos or you missed something, or you know, just to fill you in, I guess, if you're new, or yeah. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I just need to get it up on my phone first. Where are you? Oh, here we go. Oh, whoopsie, gone backwards. So the first question is, what illnesses do you have? I have a condition called biliary atresia. I was diagnosed when I was 6 weeks old, and I had a Kasai shortly after, and then I got placed on the waiting list for transplant in November 2014. So yeah. When were you diagnosed? I just said when I was 6 weeks old, so when I was very, very small. There are clear symptoms and signs that of the illness at the time, but because my parents never had experience of it, they didn't know what it was, so they obviously got very concerned, and yeah, so they took me to the GP and they said not to worry at first, and then eventually it got, the symptoms or the side effects got worse, and that's when they decided to take me to the hospital. And that's then why I got referred to the hospital I'm at now, and they ran some tests and obviously diagnosed me. So yeah, it keeps locking on me. Have you ever been get my words out. It's a tongue twister day. Have you ever been hospitalised? Yes, many times. I think if it's just talking about hospital admissions, I have to go up routine every 2 years anyway, and that was something else, and I'd only been in hospital for a day, 2 days at most, but yeah, I've definitely been hospitalised before. I was spending quite a lot of time in hospital when I was obviously a baby, and they were diagnosing me and running loads of tests and everything. And then also, not too far in the past, I was spending a lot of time in hospital in 2014, obviously because they wanted to see me more regularly. I think I was going up there every 3 months, and I had my assessment that year as well. So I'm not sure if that counts as much because I had a lot of appointments that year, but I certainly remember spending a lot of time in hospital in 2014. It sort of became like a second home, but yeah, so I've definitely been hospitalised, and the most recent time was obviously in December, just gone, when I had an infection. I spent a week in hospital there, so the answer to that question is yes, I have been hospitalised. What's next? Have you ever had surgery? Apart from my Kasai operation, I had one when I was really young, which is something to help repair the bile ducts, I think. I'll leave a link below, in my liver. Other than that, I've been very fortunate to not have had any surgery. Obviously I've got surgery coming up with my transplant, but to this very day, other than my side, no, I haven't had any surgery, so I've been very lucky. Do you have any prescription medications? Yes, I do. Now, I was going to show you to them, but my thing's downstairs and we can't bother to go get it. That's the bottom line. But I am on prescription medication, and I'm taking 2 water tablets. And basically what this means is I take 2 tablets, 50 milligrams each, every day, either with or after food. And then what they do is they help just drain the fluid out of my body, because if that builds up and sits there, is it not also really uncomfortable, but it is also really dangerous, because if it sits there and it gets an infection, then it can be really bad news. So yeah. And fun fact, well, this was really fun, but one fact that I found out when I was in hospital for my infection in December is I found out for every infection you get, you're taken off the list because supposedly you're not well enough for the surgery. So yeah, yeah, that's that one. And then I also have to take what is it, I can't remember the name of it. I will write it down below, but it's different. It's like an antibiotic basically that helps fight off or keep any risk of infection to a minimum. Obviously I think as you can imagine, I was prescribed those in December, just before I was discharged from hospital. That was to, again, just as I said, just to reduce or stop anything like that happening again. So yeah, that was that. The final one I have to take is one called rifampicin, or I think it's called Rifadin now actually, and that is basically, this isn't like compulsory as such. I only take this as and when I need it. But basically what it does is it keeps my itching at bay, because one of the side effects and symptoms that a lot of people with my condition have is they feel the need to itch a lot more, and it can be really uncomfortable and really horrible, and obviously it doesn't really look nice. So yeah, we're given a tablet for that as well. And yeah, what else have we got in here? What do you wish for people to know living with a chronic illness? Okay, the main thing I'd say is don't let it define you. You're so much more than that. You know, you're a person, you have interests, hobbies, and you know, you can try and lead as normal life as anybody else in this world. You know, just because you're less able of doing some things, or you have a certain illness, doesn't mean you should just be labelled, you know, the sick person or the disabled person. You know, you're more than that. You know, my parents have always brought me up to think that, and something I hold very strongly to my heart, because I just believe, you know, I'm not just a girl with a liver condition. Like, I'm Jasmine. I like this, I like that. You know, I have interests and hobbies just like any other person, and I think that's the most important thing. And I think a lot of the time people, when they meet someone who's got an illness, especially if it's like right in their face, they just refer to them, maybe not to their face, but often when they go away or they talk to other people about them, it's like, oh, well, do you know, Jane with the whatever condition they have. And it's just like, no, they're so much more than that. Not Jane with the whatever condition she has. She's a person. She's Jane. She's XY years old. She likes this, she likes that. And I just feel that's, you know, as I said, so many people just, I'm not sure if it's like look down, but I don't know. But I hope you kind of get what I'm saying. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear something outside. We do have gardens around at the moment, because I live in like this massive estate, private estate, and it makes me sound really rich, but I'm not, I promise. And basically they've come around to do the gardens and green. So yeah, sorry if you can hear anything. So yeah, going back to what I said, I feel you kind of get what I'm saying, so my point of what I'm trying to say from that. So yeah. Next question is, what can we do to raise awareness? I actually am struggling with this a bit because I feel that I'm not sure if I want to raise awareness. Yeah, this is something I struggle with a lot. I'm not sure if I want to raise awareness for my condition in particular, chronic illness in general, or organ donation. It's something I haven't identified one thing I particularly want to raise awareness for. So yeah, all I can say is, personally, I guess if I had to pick one, it'd be organ donation, but hey, I think to raise awareness as well, I'm not saying you have to do this, but obviously share my channel, my videos, and hopefully that will raise awareness to an extent as well. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to do that, because it's completely up to you, but I just feel like to help raise awareness, that would be one option. But yeah, since I'm not really aware of what I'm trying to raise awareness for, other than I feel loads of different things, I guess, at the moment, then, you know, no pressure. What's the next one? Who knows about your illness? Okay, it was only up until very recently, no one knew apart from my family and maybe one or two friends. And that was because I just felt so different and isolated from my peers and everybody else my age. I thought if I told them, like, they were just gonna, like, look at me, like, look down on me, not necessarily look down on me, but just like, I don't know how to explain it, like, just see me in a different light, like, completely change their opinion of me, and that scared me. I thought, I don't want to tell my friends or anyone, because I don't want them to suddenly turn around and think of me as, you know, this girl or their friend with the weird liver condition, or, you know, it scared me to death. And then it was only at the end of last year I was like, well, do you know what, they're gonna find out sooner or later anyway, and, you know, if they have a problem with it, then is their friendship really worth anything to me, you know, or us even. So that's eventually I decided that I would tell people. So I told a lot of people at the end of last year, and then following from that, so about a few weeks later into the new year, that's when I decided to make my YouTube channel, because I was like, well, everybody that practically knows, or everybody that I feel needs to know, like all my close friends, family, you know, and then I put it on YouTube. And I did that because I thought, I've got nothing really to hide anymore. I want to share this, my story, my experience. So yeah, it was only up until then that nobody really knew about my condition. But now, you know, you can just type me and you can hear the whole thing from my first video. So yeah, that I think pretty much covers that question. So my phone's locked on me again. Fantastic. Here we go. How did your illness most significantly affect your life? I'd say the biggest thing is having to literally, you can't really plan ahead too much, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Like today, I had a really good night's sleep, and I thought, okay, I'll be fine today, I'll be up, you know, and well, I'm fine. And I ended up sleeping, having an afternoon nap, and that delve into it, that then turned into a few hours, and I thought, why am I so sleepy? I thought, you know, I didn't have trouble sleeping last night, which was incredible, but I thought, obviously my body feels it needs the extra sleep at the moment. So yeah, and I think, you know, before I go anywhere or go out, I always have to think, do I have the energy for this? And I think it's just my energy that gets in the way, my energy levels mainly, and how tired I feel. I just feel like how is this gonna, can I really do this? I'm not gonna like, you know, suddenly come over with an absolute wave of exhaustion. So I always make sure, and if I do, you know, get tired away with anything, I generally sit down for a few minutes, maybe have a drink of water, and generally after I've maybe sat down for a bit, I'm generally fine. But I just worry that one day I'll be out and this wave of exhaustion will come over me and I'll be stuck in a situation where I can't, you know, just immediately leave. So yeah, and even before I go out, I have to say to people, look, you know, obviously I'm 21, and you wouldn't expect anything to be wrong with me, but I do suffer with, you know, energy levels that aren't great for some my age, and I'm just warning you, either I'll have to sit down a lot of the time or just have to take it very slowly. So yeah, but I think other than that, I think, and obviously we're living in limbo waiting for the call, where you just feel the whole time that you can't really do anything or go anywhere because you're just waiting for this call. I think that is the hardest thing as well, you know. It's a dream of mine to travel more and, you know, just see the world and everything. I can't do that because I'm not really allowed to fly at the moment, because if I decide to fly, not only could it put pressure on my body and possibly a blood clot, or sorry, a vein or something could burst, I can't remember exactly, and then that would be really bad, because if that happened I'd be internally bleeding, but not just that, I just feel also that, let me get back to see that could happen, or if I were to go on holiday, then, you know, and I got the call, it'd be a bit difficult trying to get me back. So yeah, and they can only store the organ for so long before it's basically useless. So yeah, it really does suck, because I feel like I'm at that age where I should be travelling, going out and seeing the world, but instead I'm just stuck, living in limbo, just waiting. I'm sorry. So living in limbo, waiting, and it just, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody basically, not even my worst enemy. I don't think I have many of those either, but no, it is horrible. So yeah. If you could ever tell the medical community one thing about treating a particular illness, what would it be? I don't know. I think if it had to be one thing, it would be to just keep on trying any new drugs or anything that comes available, medicine, to help find a cure for this condition other than transplant, because even though I had a concise, it's not a cure by any stretch of the imagination, and I knew that. I've known that for as long as I can remember. I've known I've always had to have a transplant one day. The Kasai was purely just to keep me running, keep me going until, you know, my liver did eventually pack up and say you can't, you know, function anymore properly. And so luckily, I've been really lucky that that's lasted me 21 years so far. But, you know, it still sucks that, you know, anybody who has my condition or any other condition where there's no such cure has to have a transplant, and it does really suck, but you just learn to live with it and get through it, I guess. So yeah, anyway, that's all the question, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I might film a few more videos, so if you see me in the same shirt, then that's why. I've not like filmed them all day in, day out in the same shirt. So yeah, as I said, I hope you enjoyed this. Do comment if you have anything to say, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and obviously if you want to see more of me, then do subscribe. Bye guys.